I would like to relate the story of something that fell in my lap. My question after looking at it all is this ET contact? Decide for yourself. It's really quite incredible. First, we have to know what the SETI wow signal was. It was a signal received by the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which had all of the earmarks of an ET signal. It was on August 15th, 1977 at 10:17 Eastern Time. Or was that Central Time? Anyway, it was at 10:17. On July 9th, 2015, I filmed something that I called a black orb. You can see it here. And that was from Claremont, California, around an hour or two before sunset. I reported my sighting to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. They told me the black orb was probably a bat or a bug, and that it was being classified as an IFO, or identified flying object, so the sighting would no longer be in their records, but it does not matter because it led to the exciting discovery of Nephi, Utah, which I'll explain. My case number was 67958. I noticed that was extraordinary because out of 67,958 reportings, mine was the one that had consecutive integers in it, 56789. So I looked up case number 56789 in the MUFON files, and something very interesting came up. It was a reporting of a UFO in Utah at 10:17 p.m., the same time as the SETI wow signal. And I looked at a map of Utah and noticed that at its center was a town or a city called Nephi. And I happen to know that Nephi is Hebrew for those who came from above. And that Nephi is the Hebrew word for Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki are is the civilization that was. The Anunnaki were written about in ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, and the Sumerians supposedly started civilization. And if you in Zechariah Sitchin's translation, he says that the word Anunnaki means those who came from above. And that the Sumerians are really saying that extraterrestrials gave them science, mathematics, and so forth about 12,000 BC. I then noticed that Nephi here at the center of Utah is at the center of the UFO hotspots. Let's look at that. Here's the certificate for the case 56789. When I filmed my black orb, this helicopter was flying around, and when I reported it, they asked if there were any helicopters, because they always ask that because they are associated with UFO sightings. The day after my sighting, right in line with it, were these two hawks in a tree, and I photographed that. I actually filmed it. Here's the certificate for my sighting before it was eliminated from the files, case 67958. So anyway, here's about the Nephi, which means Nephilim, which means Anunnaki, which means those who came from above, extraterrestrials, as some believe. Anyway, here's Nephi at the center. You'll notice to the left, Area 51, which is supposed to be a secret government military base that has extraterrestrials living on it, and that is back engineering extraterrestrial technology. Area 51 there is to the left. To the right is Wyoming, which is where Devil's Tower is. I have it at the center, but Devil's Tower is a bit further to the right, which you can see in the next photo. At the base here is Roswell, where the famous UFO crash site was, and probably around 1945 to 1950. So here I have all the stars. I have placed at Wyoming there where Devil's Tower is, and that was the site of first UFO contact in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. In Utah, I have a star at the center of Utah, which is Nephi, meaning Nephilim, or those who came from above. And again, to the left of it there, you see a star in Nevada, which is at Area 51. And to the left of that in Los Angeles, there's a star there, which is where I filmed my black orb sighting. Claremont is close to Los Angeles. That star is actually in Claremont. As you can see there, it's near Los Angeles. So if we redraw the cross, we see Nephi at the center. We see Roswell at the foot of the cross. We see Claremont where I filmed the UFO or black orb or bat or bug or whatever it was. And then up there in the upper right-hand corner, we see Devil's Tower in Wyoming. So let's place the stars in all these places. And I place a star at the center of Wyoming because it's a reflection about the Nephi axis of Area 51. And that happens to be an Indian reservation of the Arapaho Indians, the Native Americans. I now need to put a top to the cross, and I do that by determining where it should be according to the golden ratio. And here we see it falls in Nyssa, Oregon, on the Oregon-Idaho border, a place called Treasure Valley, which is interesting because this discovery is clearly a treasure. We've got a cross spanning the UFO hotspots with Nephi at the center, but it gets even better. Look at this. We see that the central axis points to Houston. The red label, which is NASA Mission Control, right down there in Texas. The central Nephi axis of the cross points right down at Houston, which is Mission Control for space launches.